Ladies and gentlemen, we're now to kick it to the very best. Because the Jazzy Fusion Productions. Sound like Sean Wow. Show up. She joined me with me, now we getting groovy, hotter than jacuzzi, so shawty won't you slow down. See the other fellas, I'm like, baby, they try to do it like it ain't the same. Front to back, shawty, side to side, and anyway, when it's hoes and I, cause it's all black, push it back to the command. Why you go for it, if you would do it, you should be my girl. I got a chance for you. I'm on my cool for you. Waking up 3 o'clock in the morning for you. I never sweat you, baby. But if you let me, baby, know that I'ma put it down. That's all for you. You should come to me. Oh, no. Why we go?
Hey, 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 it's your girl Nay coming to you with another episode of As Told by Nay the podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, y'all? Happy Thursday. Hope everyone's day is off to a great start thus far. I'm sitting here with Miss Elena Nicholas. And as y'all can see today, ain't no notebook, ain't no notes. We about to just off the dome with this conversation. It's going to be a two-parter though. So today, it'll be a little bit of dialogue between me and Miss Nicholas here. And then next week, we're going to bring back some people that may have some actual direct experience with what we're going to be talking about. So to get this started though, for those that may not have watched any of my podcasts in the past, go ahead and let people know who you are.
As a recent Instagram, no, just kidding.
I'm not doing that today.
My name is Elena Nicholas, and I'm so happy to be on Nay's podcast. I'm with No Strings Publishing and the Media Magazine, so check those two things out on your social media accounts, guys.
No Strings. Okay.
I'm going to sing the name that's in the song.
I'm not gonna sing it.
Okay.
Not today.
Okay.
Maybe later.
Okay.
Y'all know I'm shy a little bit. All right. So, let's see if I can come up with some excuse me, come again questions off the dome since I got you here. Okay, question number 1. Question number 1. If you could go anywhere and start your life over, where would you go and why?
Ooh. I don't know. I don't like thinking about starting my life.
Oh, okay. So why not?
I had a pretty fantastic life,
Okay,
I think.
nothing wrong with that.
But if I could start over with my same life in another town or something, I would probably live in the mountains.
In the mountains.
But like, Tennessee,
With the animals.
yeah. On the farm somewhere, I would totally live the farm life.
Again, with the animals.
I want a cow
Alright.
named Belle.
A cow named Belle. That's very specific.
And
So
a
I
horse named
feel
Sheba.
like you thought about this for real.
That's my angle.
All right. All right. So if you had a hall pass to be with any celebrity and it would not cause any friction in your marriage, who would it be?
Chris Breezy. Oh. Go crazy.
Give me that. Okay.
But since I am married, sorry, Chris.
Chris Brown be beating people up.
He won't be. I'm getting too much into that. But Chris Brown.
Okay. All right. This one is fine though. Hey, Breezy. Can you remember what your first concert experience was like, and who was it? Who was your very first concert?
So y'all gonna be like totally shocked because I'd never gone to a concert until last year.
Really?
Yep, I was supposed to go to Bow Wow when he first came out, but I got in trouble and my mama ripped it up, and so I've never been to a concert. But the concert that I just went to last year was TLC, and it made up for all the concerts that I
Was it
never
dope?
went to. It was absolutely. Yes.
I would love to see them perform live. That would be dope. I'm kind of jealous a little bit.
It was amazing. They danced real good still.
That's what's up. Okay, so was that 3 questions?
It was 3.
That was 3. And then something that I was exploring today within self is, what do you think is your biggest flaw?
My lack of consistency.
Lack of consistency. What you mean by that?
Like, I'm consistent, but I'm not consistent. Like, I do a lot of things, but I need to be consistent with them over and over. And so I'm flawed in continuing to do a lot of things that I do consistently. So I have good ideas and strategies, but like I don't keep the systems that I implement and stuff like that. So that's kind of a flaw.
Okay. So as you guys can see, there is no Malibu sitting on my table. I am actually in the midst of doing like a 31-day countdown to my birthday, as well as like a complete emotional, physical, and spiritual cleanse. So a part of that is no alcohol for the next 31 days. So we're not gonna toast. We just gonna salute. And what I'm saluting to today is happiness. The main goal in life. Whatever that means for you, me, you, like everybody's views of happiness looks different. And I just want everyone to go get it, find out what that is for you, and go get it. All right. So if I had to give today's conversation a title, it would be living in the gray. So what do I mean by living in the gray? When I say that, what do you think I mean? Outside of, you already know what you're talking about, but if somebody was just to say to you, I'm living in the gray, what do you think they're talking about?
Living in between.
Okay. Exactly. So you know how people are talking about that gray area. Mm-hmm. And I have found that there are a lot of different gray areas. There can be gray areas that lead to situationships. There are gray areas that can lead to misunderstanding about like what you're supposed to be doing on your job. There are gray areas when you're a parent and your kid trying to get over. There's a lot of different gray areas. But the living in the gray that we're going to be talking about today is when you mix black and white paint, you get gray.
Oh.
So today we are going to be talking about interracial dating. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. So I was having this conversation with a couple of different people, and I had some guests that were prepared to come through and speak to the topic, but life happens, which is cool. So I'm going to make this a 2-part so that we can have this dialogue between me and Ms. Nicholas, and then next week, make sure you guys come right back so that you can get the perspective of these guys. So we're going to be speaking to it from the sense of Black women. Where do we even begin? Because again, this is off of the dome. I saw a post, and there was a guy who was pictured with his white girlfriend, and he made a statement. Matter of fact, let me go look it up so I can be, correct when I say this. Get the facts. I like to be factual. When you
like the president.
Please speak up. Let the people hear you.
Unlike y'all president.
Unlike y'all president. Oh man, where's that post? I'm not saying this on my phone just for this. There it is. Okay, so he said he was taking a picture with his girlfriend who had just graduated from college, getting her master's. His girlfriend is white, and he said, "Why deal with broke, uneducated Black women when I have a woman with a master's from the top college in the U.S.?" So, what I want to dissect here is not even just interracial dating, but why it has become appropriate or deemed appropriate to put down another race to validate why you're dating outside of your race. So, how do you feel about that post? How does that make you feel?
These topics make me hot, and the lights don't make it better. I don't like it. I don't like it. I keep saying it.
Yeah.
I think those type of people with those type of views are very small people. And the fact that they express such a big idea just burns me up.
Okay. So first off, let me ask you this. What is your mindset behind interracial dating? So you said earlier, you're married. Is your husband Black?
He is black chocolate. Haitian chocolate.
Okay. So you are married to another African American king. Okay. What is your idea? Haitian American. I'm sorry. What is your ideals behind interracial dating?
So I have no problem with interracial dating. I'm gonna sound like them other people that we talk about. I have white family members, but I mean that real lovingly. So I have white family members who I love and adore, and my cousins are biracial, and I have no issue with people loving who they love. That's not the issue. That is not the gripe here.
Mm-hmm.
The gripe is love them without downgrading or downing somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. Don't say I date white women because Black women ain't crap.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue.
So I have, taken interest in, a couple of guys before, and I have been told, well, I don't date Black women. These are Black men. And this was more so like in college. I haven't run into that like in adulthood yet. I hope I never do, but I definitely ran into it in college. And when I would ask them, like, okay, you don't date Black women, why? And I would get answers like, well, Black women aren't my preference. Do you feel like race is a preference in dating?
No.
What would you deem a preference? So here's the thing.
Long hair,
okay,
brown eyes. Because I think like people usually don't fall in love, because of people's eyes or hair. But when you say Black women aren't my preference, you're saying I can't date them because like I don't like them. Like, you don't like blue eyes, but you still will date somebody. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
But if you just totally down it, then it's no longer a preference. You just completely checking it off your list.
Okay. So you feel like a preference can be negotiable. Yeah. Negotiable.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I can kind of get with that. I can kind of get with that. Because, like, for me, my preference is tall guys, but I would date a short guy.
Right.
Okay.
And I feel like when people say I prefer anybody other than Black, you just saying like you just don't like black people, Black women.
Yeah. Okay. So,
especially when you don't sought after them.
Yeah. So race is not a preference. Okay. So then another answer that I would get is, well, Black women have too much attitude. They angry. They always mad. They got drama. All of that is within the same family.
So I'm assuming they don't watch Snap. Because all the white people be killing their people. That's a big attitude to me. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I think that's an excuse. Because again, like every girl, I think sassiness is just a female trait, characteristic. I think since most Black men have grown up with Black sisters or Black moms, they just see it more often. But like I said, like y'all don't watch Snap and all that kind of stuff, then we'll be kind of feisty.
Mhm.
Spanish people, we real feisty. I know y'all seen that video where that Spanish guy was coming out of Texaco and she was beating him upside his head. So I don't think that's just black women.
Okay. Not just black women. And I always have to argue that because when you hear about Latino women, it's always, oh, they spicy. You know, I like they feisty. Or white women are passionate. They're just passionate.
We just angry.
And we're angry and bitter. Like all the negative tones when it comes to, you know, us getting upset or whatever. Like it's always deemed wrong. Okay, so and I just feel like I'm not even angry. So when I hear that answer, like, oh, all women are just angry and mean and just, I just be like, I'm like the nicest person I know. But okay,
Right.
let's go with it. So then this one too, when he said that black women are uneducated. Now that really like offended me because I am very all about education and just very proud of my accolades within that, you know, 2 degrees. You know, he's like, oh, my girl
And
got
not
a
an
master's
associate's and a bachelor's, but bachelor's
and a master's
all the way.
all the way, you know. So that like that black women are uneducated. Like I'm just trying to figure out. I guess when they come with these answers, like where is this coming from? So here's the idea that I thought about. Men who feel like they only date white women because these black women have all these negative stereotypes. What do you think about the idea that it's the black women that either they're going after or that they attract?
I think it's both.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's both. I think what happens is usually they play around with black girls. Y'all, they don't want to get serious and pick themselves up with the black women. So, you know, they date them in high school. They play around with them in college. And when they get a sense of self-security, they sought after the stereotype of white is right, white is better. And then they kind of like, you know, they forget about who hold them down and who went through the process. They forget about, you know, both culture barriers that both have shown. And then so they never like bring her up. And as far as black women just not being educated, like I think black women are the highest educated group right now.
Talk about it.
That there is.
Talk about it.
So I don't know what he talking about. Sound like he kind of does.
Big dumb.
But he is what he got.
So that moves us right into this. And by no means, let me just be clear on my stance. I'm not against interracial relationships. I think that you are supposed to love who you love. I feel like we can't even control really like who we fall for. You may have an attraction to somebody or, you know, you love who you love. And a lot of times it's not even in our control, like who you fall for. Sometimes you find yourself in the most awkwardest situations and you're like, I never would have thought that this would be who I fell in love with, but here I am.
Right.
So if you know, are with someone of a different race and you love someone of a different race, more power to you. But what I don't like is when you have to feel validated in that relationship. So then you talk down on, you know, black women as a whole. And this goes both ways across the board because I've had conversations with black women who speak on, well, I don't date black men because they got all of them got a bunch of kids, or they ain't about shit. And they don't, you know, they broke, they just want to use you for your money. You know, they, whatever. I've heard a bunch of negative stereotypes about men, black men as well. And I just be like, well, I know some pretty awesome black men.
But I think for the most part, like these people are really speaking from their insecurities because you got to be some type of insecure to highlight the greatness of anyone and minimize that of their other or not even speak on your own. Usually people that are strong within there, like you don't gloat about my wife has 2, 3, or my girl got 2, 3 bachelors and someone else don't. Usually it's to make them like trophy, like make them feel better about themselves. So I think women and men are speaking from a place of insecurity when they do that.
Okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. So you said something, and I want to kind of go into that a little bit about how a lot of black women get played with. They are the what I like to call the starter girlfriends, where the guy will meet you maybe when he's not ready to be in a relationship in the first place or ready to start anything, and you guys date and you're there for him. Perfect example, acrimony. Where you're like encouraging him and you basically like fueling him, pushing him forward to be his best self, and then he leaves you. And in that moment, he's nothing. And not that he's nothing, but his potential is all that he is. You see what he can be. He's not there yet.
Right.
And then he'll go off and take all of that love and encouragement and building up that you did and marry someone else. A lot of times, this someone else is Susan or Karen or Becky with the good hair. Why do you think that is? And this is like, and this, I'm not just pulling this out my ass. Like, this is a common thing that you see all the time.
I think they do it because it's just that it's that thing, like, you know, I'm too good. You build them up, I'm too good. And then so they don't wait. You know, men are a different species than women. So they don't wait for you to either match them or bring you up unless they LeBron James.
Shout out to LeBron. He
But
a crybaby, but he real.
like it's black. But I think they get to a certain standard, and in their mind, I think it's a mental illness. Like, I think it's a mental illness because in their mind, they truly believe.
Clarify.
I gotta watch
You
my
think
words.
it's a mental illness today?
No, that's not what I'm saying, Nay. Don't do it.
But this is what I'm
No.
saying. Clarify, because people will take and
The thought
misconstrue
process.
your words.
The thought process. We're not talking about actual people that are in love. That's not who we talk about. We get y'all.
Okay.
This is not an all lives matter situation here. We just talk about these people who demonize black women to be with another race. We're not talking
Right.
about the people who are in love and they go and move on. We all for that. We're talking about people who put us down.
Right.
And so I think it's a mental illness that we have growing up. We truly believe that white is right. White is better. I have gotten better, so I'm gonna go. It's the same concept. When
Right.
black people get money, they move out of their hood and they move to their house because they say those white, they don't build up where they live at. They go move into a neighborhood predominantly white that's already all put together, clean cut, micro grass, the plastic grass. So they move up or what they think is better, even if it costs them. Because you know, it look good, but then you get the HOA fees and you get the all that stuff. So I think it's just coming from growing up. They just think sometimes white is right. So I'm done with this section of my life. See you.
And for clarity too, we're not just talking about interracial with black and white. This goes across the board with Latinas and
Even
Asians
mixed girls.
and mixed girls.
Light skinned black girls.
We're gonna get into all of that. So you actually had sent me this interview that 50 had did, and he was talking about the Latin women and how exotic is a thing, or like he's wanting the exoticness of these other women, and that's why he prefers non-black. What do you feel about that? Like, I feel like black women are very exotic.
I think so too. I think we're different in our own right. Like, I think we're creative. Like, we match who they are when they don't even like the mirror image. I think. Not saying that nobody else can be, but when they say exotic, I don't understand where they get that from. Because black women are so versatile and diverse. There's not very many white women, Latino women diverse. Usually, not all, please hear me when I say this, not all, but when you meet, like, I have white friends who I love, but their other circle is all white. You know, they just operate in there's no diversity. And you know, Latinos, they pretty much stick with Latinos. But you got a black girl, and she friends with everybody. She got white friends, black friends. You don't get no more exotic and different than that. That means that her personality fits wherever, because we exotic and beautiful and just.
So someone was saying that when people date outside their race, it has a lot to do with how they were raised. How would your mother have felt if you brought home someone who was not in your race?
My mama don't care. Like she like I was brought up diverse to love everybody,
Mhm.
you know, love everything about anyone, you know, find the good in people.
Mhm.
So my mom wasn't really that type of person, and for the most part, I don't think the mothers are that way. I mean, the mothers are that way with their daughters, but I think the mamas vary that much way with their sons.
Like you better bring home somebody that look like me.
Right. And so that goes into rebellion, I think.
Mm.
Sometimes.
Agreed. I know a couple of people that played a role, and then they ended up just actually falling for the person after a while. But their mission was to fall for that because their mama was against it so much.
Right.
Mm. So why do you think it is so important for the black family unit to stay black? Or first of all, do you think it's important?
So I don't think it's important as far as keeping people from being happy with who they love. I think it's important because there is a poor representation for black families. So I don't think we should be like, no, we got to build up our. I think there's a poor representation of what black unions look like. And so if we don't make that important, and you know, you'll get people that argue, well, so what? There's mixed families all over, but there's only one demographic that is suffering from the lack of unity within their family unit.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever?
That is large scale.
And just from me knowing you personally, so I know that you have children. Did you ever go into your relationship, then turn marriage, thinking I'm about to have kids with this black man, and I don't know if my kids gonna be cute? You know, did that ever cross your mind?
No. Like I never thought of that because like I think people are so vain. But again, like I wasn't raised to think that way. But there are a lot of women. I have met a lot of women who literally date Spanish guys because they want the babies with the long hair and the cute color. Mm-hmm. No, I truly, honestly believe that black is beautiful. Like right. I believe that black kids are beautiful. I mean, you know, some people all I mean, everybody's got a little, right? Like everybody's got a little, ooh, girl. Wait till you get about 4-5 months, right? You know, everybody's got that kind of stuff going. But I truly believe that black is beautiful, and you know, the hair stuff and the light stuff. Like I never wanted to be that person for my kids. So I then came out and black is hard, and it's funny because I got 2 different color children, right? With 2 different type of, you know, length hairs, and so I got a light bright, and then I got my chocolate beauty, and so for that's the whole other conversation. That's right. Colorism and stuff, right? But yeah,
because and it's so disheartening because I've had that conversation with so many people, male and female, African Americans, to say, well, I'm gonna get a white dude or a Spanish dude, or I'm gonna get a white girl because I want my kids to be cute. Or I want light skinned babies, and I want babies with good hair, and it's just like that goes back to like the way we were programmed in slavery, though. The whole paper bag rule, where it was the lighter you were, the better you were. It kind of goes to what you were saying, where they kind of have this mental concept of white is right. That's so sad.
It is sad.
That's a very sad thing. That's a very sad thing. Do you think it is a compliment for someone to tell you that you are pretty for a dark skin girl?
Absolutely not. I don't think it's a compliment at all. No. For cancels all that out.
Yeah.
Like black people, like them. Ooh, them purple, beautiful black.
I love
Girl, they skin
dark
be so like
skin.
it. That's so exotic. Like that's more exotic than anything that I've ever seen. But they be melon, they're chocolate. Like I love it. Like I love everybody, but I just love the unit of like and
black men.
yeah. And people don't even know, like they don't even experience, so they think white is right. Like it's something in people's mind that think that you can't experience those things, but like then when you do it, they be like, "Oh, you act white." Like we eat dinner at the table every night. Like we sit around.
That's a very healthy
and
family.
we eat dinner, but then you tell your black people or something that you do, and they're like, "Y'all act like white people." So white people are the only people that sit at dinner and enjoy family time at the dinner table,
right?
Because we think white is right, and somewhere, some way, the men or the woman feel like they won't get that with a black family. So so we grow up watching TV shows of white people and people experiencing the life that we always wish we could have. We wish we could have had a dad in our home. We wish we could have, family left property. So when we see that, we be like, okay, I want to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we think we can't have that in a black family because we've never seen it. But we've seen the white people do it.
That's a good point. Representation. Very, very big. Very, very big. I think for me, 100%, that is why I have just never been attracted to other races. Well, not white men. I've never been attracted to white men.
I mean, Chris Hemsworth.
Lord?
Oh,
he ain't even white though.
What?
Yeah, he is. He
The
white,
other
but
one not white. The one who goes
Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. But representation, so like all the men in my family are just like so strong, and they're providers, and they are smart, and they're handsome, and they're fathers, and they just carry themselves with this swag that's just like, okay, that's what I need in my life.
Which is probably why you're educated, well spoken, you're doing well. So they want something that they're not even providing for their 8 kids that they got with Felicia. So
but yeah, so that has been the representation that I grew up with. So it was always like, oh, that's the type of man that I want to marry and that I want in my life. Somebody that's going to be a little swag, smart, strong, able to provide, secure, sure about themselves, and look like me. So we can have little chocolate babies, and my children can see this is what a healthy black family unit looks like, and it does exist.
right. And see, I didn't have that.
And for me, my dad was definitely present in my life, but I had a whole bunch of fathers. My mom got 5 brothers. Yeah. And my dad has 3 brothers. So like my uncle stood in the paint for real. And then I have so many cousins who grew up to be the same fathers and strong men and providers. And it just was a cycle of this is what I need right here.
Right.
So when I have my little son, he can look at his daddy and
right.
be like, mm-hmm.
And see a whole lineage of strong black men.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't have a strong black male presence in my mom was married, and that was a strong black. But like growing up, I didn't have. I mean, my dad was in my life, but he lived in a different state, and so that's totally different than seeing it every day.
Right,
so right. And by the time I grew up, my uncles were older because my mother is an only child.
Okay, so that makes sense. So for you, did you ever think that you needed to? Because then we're gonna move into something that I heard when I had this conversation with one of my white counterparts. Did you ever feel like you needed to date outside of your race to gain a sense of status or culture or representation of what a man was.
Nope, because I've always been a builder.
What does that mean?
So I always thought, like, I never thought I had to go outside, but what I did know is I knew exactly what I didn't want, and I knew that I was going to build the family dynamic that I wanted. So I approached life and my kids and my family as, when you want something, you can't. I feel like people can't argue the other side unless you've tried it. So you got a lot of non-try. Y'all ain't never try to be with a Black woman and make it work and marry her and provide and give security. You just had the baby and stuff like that. So you don't know.
Because that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, so you don't know what it's like. So now, if it don't work out, my husband, I've experienced. I tried, So I always wanted to just build, and I don't know until I see. So no, I didn't have that thought.
So I too have white friends, and I have heard this notion that, so when Sharon sent me off to school, it was go to school, get your work done, get your degree. You got them boys' faces. You work hard. You are strong. You are Black. You are powerful. You are a woman. They're going to hear you roar.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got my degree, and I came home, and I'm single, and I'm trying to date, and I'm trying to figure things out. Whereas I have other friends that went to college, and they came home, and they married, and they got a family. And I was talking to one of my friends, and she said that when her mom sent her to school, it was, you be cute, you find you an athlete, because they're probably going to go pro, and you be the best that he has ever had, and you hold on, and when it's time for draft night, you're going to be right there. Have you heard that before? Am I tripping? Has anybody else heard that before?
I heard they go to college to look for a spouse. I didn't hit athlete because they usually don't want them to be athletes unless they white athletes.
See, that was
so
that one.
Yeah, and see that go back to the other, like what we talk about, sending off to college and dating athletes, but it's only say white athletes. So it's the same. We was talking about rebellion. They're told you don't date Black boys. You don't bring no Black boys to this house. So they rebel and they end up bringing a Black boy to the house. So if it can go that way, absolutely, it must go the other way.
Trying to stay close to the mic. You talk too soft.
Oh, my bad.
So yeah, that was an interesting concept to me, and I was talking to her about it. That her mom actually sent her to school to become a wife. Mm-hmm. Like, you find your husband in school, and you marry him, you find him, and that's who's gonna take care of you.
Yeah, but you know why? Because white men go to college. They're grown. What's your Black mama gonna tell you to go to college when she's grown up? Not your specific mom, but they've grown up with the culture of men who are more trade oriented than college oriented. Black men, up until recently, wasn't really checking for school. So this is not really something that we need to teach, because you need to go and get your independency and get what you need, girl. Because waiting for these men, you ain't gonna get it. Because in school that our parents, we may know Black boys that go to college and be athletes, but our parents coming from a generation of men that skipped that bone.
That makes sense.
So
I can't understand Lena. She keep trying to be politically correct and I noticed that she started talking low when she say certain stuff. But I'm gonna need you to project because the people can't hear you. It's in my shirt.
Well, it was in between the cleats. Okay.
All right. So yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, train of thought.
We was talking about them going to school.
Oh, college. Okay. So there's a myth that Black people are not cultured. How do you feel about that?
I feel like the people that believe that, what they need to do is look on their Facebook friend list, find 5 Latinos, find 5 white people, find 5 Black people, and see who has the most diverse friend group on social media. That's gonna cancel all that. Because when all that Black Lives Matter stuff was going, I'm like, all these people got to say they don't. Them people that was arguing with me only had one Black friend, and it was me on their Facebook friend list. I be accepting all kind of people. They be from Germany, they be from Africa, they be from Bora Bora, Chinese. I got all kind of people. I be my WhatsApp filled with all kinds of people. Like, who is these people? And somebody right now be named Akalaka. I don't know his name, but I be like, huh? To my graphic designs and stuff. So I just get all kind of people. But if you go on your friend list and look at you can count how many other people. And so that is it. That is so that's a myth. That's all they need to go do. If we're not cultured, then no, it's not.
Yeah. What about the idea that dating inside of your race, or I mean dating outside of your race, opens opportunities that you may not be able to experience on your own? Like what? Traveling.
So you're enforcing the same system that you say keeping you down. Like that don't make sense. That's not about opportunity because you can get those opportunities. So you're falling into the trap of white is right, and that in order to flow through this system, I must be attached to somebody other than my Black self. Make it make sense.
So in your household, how do you go about reinforcing that Black is beautiful?
Saying Black is beautiful. And like with my kids, like I make sure they look at Daddy. Like you can ask Naya all the time. I'd be like, look at Daddy, and me and Mommy, and we kiss in front of them, and we like there's no we give each other a kiss. I love on him. And I asked my daughter 3, I said, what is the man supposed to do, Naya? And she said the same thing. Love, care, and protect. I say, which one do Daddy do? All 3. And sometimes when he mean, she's like, well, he's forgot to protect because he's being mean to you. But those are the things that I say in my household so that they can identify and connect the language with their dad, with this Black man. Right. He provides, he cares, he protects. And I associate it with what we're doing. We at the dinner table. Naya, what do Daddy do? He's supposed to love, care, and protect. I say, what he doing? Well, he loves us because he's feeding us. So that's how I talk to my kids about that all the time, associating words with the person, with the action.
Okay. What about being comfortable in the skin that they're in?
My oldest daughter kind of struggles with that, but that's that colorism situation. And then also my oldest daughter got a lot of white friends. So, they kind of raise their kids different. So she kind of, don't connect why they act like this culturally and why they can do this culturally. They usually let their kids have stuff sooner, more so than we do. And, having mixed friends, they get to dye their hair and stuff. And so so that kind of stuff. But now, my sister has been like helping my daughter with her hair and stuff. And so she's very much becoming comfortable. But she never said that, like she said she loved being Black. So it's not Black that is a problem for her. It's usually the worldly stuff like hair and stuff like that. And Maya, she just loved everything. So I'm sick of her.
I know that's right.
Girl.
That's how she's supposed to be. She aggravated. How she's supposed to be. So again, this is gonna be a part. It might even turn into a 3-part because I definitely want to get the insight of a Black man who's dating a white woman, as well as a Black woman who's dating a Black man, to kind of get an understanding of what led to the connection and why not Black. And again, this is not because I feel like dating outside of your race is wrong or is something bad about it. I'm just trying to get a better understanding because I just feel like I want that person in my corner who is mirror image. And when I say that, not even just look like me, but understands my struggle, understands how to uplift me and be in the moment with me that the state of the world is in right now. There's a lot of people's households and relationships kind of under fire right now because of the state of the world. Like all of this going on, and you're finding out who, really got your back and who's really going to hold you down. So I feel like in those moments, it's very, very important to have someone who understands. And so I definitely want to have the dialogue with them as far as like what is it like in your relationship right now with everything that's going on, and what led you to, be with someone of a different race and what your reasonings are. Because as a Black woman, it's very offensive and very hurtful and very disheartening to hear some of the excuses that Black women are uneducated, Black women are angry, Black women are mentally ill. I've heard that too.
And can you add into that, Kate? We also need to get to the bottom of. We also need to get to the bottom of who y'all mamas are. Like that's. I'm not connecting those dots because if the Black girl who you don't want to date is ignorant, uneducated, but you love your mama, but like y'all can't be mama boys and hate Black women at the same time, and you popped out of like you gotta make it make sense. So either your mama all those things, and I'm gonna just start saying your mammy, or
thanks.
Like, because I'm just trying to figure out. So that's something else. Like I want to.
But a lot of times that's exactly what it is. That first understanding of what a Black woman is, it comes from home,
right?
And what they see is dysfunction in their home.
But
so they kind of
hear all Black men say, "My mama, the strongest woman I know. My mama worked hard. She loved me. My mama's boy. I would break my back for my mama. I don't nobody." You see the conversation on Facebook. Ain't nobody coming before my mama. That's the conversation. But yet, I don't date Black women because they don't know how to act. Well, your mammy don't know how to
not
act.
nah.
Yeah, they so aggravated. I hate it.
It's very it's crazy because I'm just not any of those things. And I have a whole circle of friends, plus some, that are not any of those things.
Right.
Not the attitude. I mean, that's women in general. Like, all women can have an attitude. All women can be feisty. So get out of here with that. But the angry and the drama filled and the uneducated and uncultured
and have too many kids.
They
never blame the Black man for making her have all the kids and leaving her. Like, it's always the woman's fault.
And not only all the bad kids. This one dude said he don't want to date Black women because they all got kids, and not only do they have kids, but their kids bad. What? And I ain't got none. So
who I need
all Black
and we need to find out who they talk to, who they dating. Like, that's where are you picking these people up from?
She said, "Did I miss a caller?" You did not miss a caller. So what happened was the caller had to work, but we're gonna get the caller on next week. This is gonna be a part 2 and maybe even a part 3 because we got questions that need answered. Today we just kind of dissected how we felt as Black women to hear these stereotypes and to hear these excuses of why so many men that we love and uplift don't love us back. And I think that that's really what it comes down to. What the common conversation is happening now is how hard Black women go for Black men, but it's not reciprocated. Like, the Black men as a whole are not standing in the paint for us. And that is very sad. It's very sad. Especially with like things that happen in the media and just like
right. Like, did you see I think it was Love and Hip Hop or something. Like, you know how sometimes you scroll on Facebook and one video finished and then the Love and Hip Hop come up? That situation, they was in a reunion and the Black man got up and choked the Black girl, and all the Black men were sitting around like just watching. Like, didn't even try to get him off of her until like after he had choked out one. And I think he was a producer. But all the black men were just kind of like, dang.
See, that's crazy. That would not fly if any of. Shout out to my brothers. That wouldn't fly around my brothers.
Things gonna get there.
You could be a stranger, but it's just because, like, you're supposed to protect your own. Like, and I know it may be a stranger, you don't know that person personally, but that's
But you
still
gonna
your
watch
own.
a woman get beat up? Like,
That's still your own. You know what I mean? That's crazy. I did not see that actually. He's good. That's great. So yeah, anybody that's watching, if you have any questions that you would like to ask the fellas when they come through next week about, you know, their dating practices or, you know, any of the interracial questions, when, where, why, and how.
somebody said self-hate.
Self-hate, we definitely will explore that. Definitely will explore that. Somebody else told me that too. Men that date outside their race are not happy with who they are. And again, that may not always be the case, but you have those ones that are saying black women, black men ain't shit, so that's why I date white. Maybe you ain't shit. That's what that.
Is that
That's a part of my cleanse. That's hard. I am going to be better in 31. That's what I just keep telling myself. Like, girl, you got some real bad habits. And breaking them has been like, whew. But yeah, all them, I ain't this, or they ain't this, so that's why I don't. And then too, I want to explore, and I'm going to explore this with the fellas when they come, or if anybody can tell me right now that's tuned in, how y'all feel about when they say all these negative stereotypes, and then you be like, well, hello, I'm not like that. Oh, well, that's just you. Like I'm the only black woman in the whole world.
Hey, I got a couple cousins
That-
like that don't date us. And then too, if you check the rap sheet, a lot of black men too, besides all that stuff, they've been hurt by a black woman real bad. And so they think all black women are the same because of their experience. So they always, I'm going to date you a pink toe.
What a pizza?
That's
I
what
ain't
they
never
call
heard
it.
that
That's
one.
what they call it. So that happens. I got a couple cousins, and they say what you just said. Man, I can't find no black women like you.
Like you.
And I'm like, what you mean? You know. But that's because you associate white with how I act. You don't associate how I act with other black women. If you started thinking that black women acted like you think I act, you would probably be in positions to meet those black women.
Right.
But since you think all black women act that way, you know, they go to the clubs and stuff like that. So they don't find, you know, you don't see white women in the club. Where do you find them at?
Right.
At the hospitals, nurses, you know, stuff like that. But the people that they say, like, y'all don't go nowhere. Y'all be in the club. So what kind of black women do you think is there? But go to college. You're going to see a whole other type of black women. Girl, I be seeing
Whole nother kind.
you be seeing them, they be like this. I be watching them videos. I ain't go to college, but I'm still educated. But I did go to college. I ain't get a degree. But I'm talking about like I should have
went to
went
college and ain't educated.
because I love it. Can you do one? They be I be like, what's the one song? They stand in the line, they like,
It just all depends on which one they did.
I might be throwing up gang signs, but they be
you are.
but they be like,
That ain't it.
different world. Like I'm gonna be like Nick Cannon, 32. I'm going to an HBCU. You know
it.
I am.
I live. Listen, the best decision of my life. I
love
promise
it.
you.
I
I promise you.
So,
All right, where we at? So just in conclusion, as we get ready to wrap up and things. something I want you guys to think about too, fellas out there and women that date outside of their race. I remember one time I was having this conversation with one of my friends, and he was like, "You need to introduce me to some of your friends because I know that they they probably own it." And I'm looking at him like, "Boy, none of my friends would talk to you because you are not on their level. You're
Right.
not in their league." And then it's, "Oh, she bougie. She thinks she better than."
And see, that's the twist. So is it the same for women? But the thought process for women is not the same thought process.
At all.
Black women try to find black men before they cross over.
Right.
Usually, the ones that I've met, the ones that I've associated with, that date white, they're like, I can't find no black man that want to get a good credit score house. They usually want to be the moochers to those type of black women.
Yeah.
So they like
want you to take care of them and stuff, but
Right.
it's like, no,
but it has nothing to do with them being black.
right. Whereas
Usually.
women are like, I want to build them up, like we in this thing together, let's grow together. And men, they want to find a woman that's already established so they can just jump on the coattails. And no, we ain't doing that no more. We ain't doing that no more. Not no more. Mm-mm.
Being that.
Mm-mm. But yeah, y'all keep chasing after these city girls on IG and getting upset when they give you attitude and give you gold digger vibes and give you all the stereotypes you're looking for, because it's the type of woman that you're going after. So that good talk.
Good talk. Follow me on Instagram, Elena Nicholas. I got some free, not free, but I got some discount stuff that y'all will be seeing soon. Y'all please go and purchase when I put them up. So IG Elena Nicholas.
Okay. This girl is a whole IG model in the span of
In real life.
2 hours because we're not doing that.
But y'all just go follow me
Doing
on
that.
Instagram. Okay. Please.
So with that being said, make sure that you guys are right back here next Thursday at 8 p.m. so that we can have another conversation. I need my fellas to come through and speak to the topic. I'm hoping that my homeboy is available. I kind of want to do this like a panel type situation and get some thoughts about like why we operate this way. Why do we still operate under the constraints that white is right, white is the trophy, and that other, black women and black men are difficult to partner with? I think we vented a little bit today. And again, disclaimer, we are not saying that interracial relationships are wrong. But
I love all my baby cousins and their
right,
wives.
right. The wrong thing is when you tell me the only reason why you're with someone not in your race is because your race is ignorant and not cultured and it doesn't have anything to offer. Now that's when we have an issue. That's when the problem comes. Love who you love, but not if it's going to be at the expense of someone else. That's it. That's it. So right back here next Thursday, another episode of As Told by Nay. You see down there in the banner, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Stay up to date with all that is As Told by Nay. Also, make sure that you guys go ahead and cop Dreamer. It is available for purchase. Right down there. I know you see it scrolling. If you already have the book, do your girl.
Hey. I'm going to HBC.
If you already have the book, make sure you hit that same link and leave me a review on Barnes & Nobles. Let me know how much you enjoyed reading the book. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And again, next week, right back here, part 2. Let's talk about it.
All right, guys. Bye.
Oh, I should have. I'm going to inbox him because he got a white girlfriend.
Okay. Did he call me?
No, I just see that he watched it. I'm going to inbox him. I'm going to inbox you in a minute. All right.
Bye,
Bye y'all.